What's up, everyone? I'm doing a series on things that aren't in the Bible that we think are in the Bible. I'm going to be talking about Noah today, and I'm also going to be sharing 5 facts about the story that you may not know, things you always wanted to know about Noah but were afraid to ask. And I'm also going to share 4 very encouraging truths from the story of Noah. First and foremost, Noah was mocked for building an ark on dry land, and I have to confess the sin of having said that in sermons in the past. And I was so surprised to go through the story of Noah and see that that is simply not there. We add so many things to the Bible. It's like layers of paint that gets put on wood over many, many years, and we lose track of the grain of the wood itself. And the whole art of reformation is to get back to that original wood so that we can actually see the grain of the story that the person who was writing it was trying to get through to us. Another sort of half-truth is that all of the animals went in 2 by 2. Well, that's partially true, but clean animals, those animals that are kosher, those animals that are able to be eaten in the Old Testament, and they didn't really know what clean and unclean was at this point. That really came later with the Torah. But in any case, 7 pairs of clean animals, and what they meant by that was animals that were used for agriculture and for food. So there was 7 pairs of those, and that's something that I've lost track of also. There are 5 facts about the book that you may not know. Number 1, that Noah is a bigger character in the Quran than he is in the Bible. He's mentioned 43 times. But the Muslims conveniently leave out the part where he planted a vineyard and got drunk off of his own wine because he's a role model and Muslims are not supposed to drink. Number 2, we don't know the name of Noah's wife. Mrs. Noah is all we know. We don't know the names of the wives of Noah's 3 sons. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. We don't know who they were either. They weren't mentioned. Number 3, you've heard of the term anti-Semitic, which means anti-Jewish. You might want to know that it also means anti-Arab and anti-Aramaic and those kind of folks, the Middle Eastern people that speak Semitic languages. The word Semitic comes from the word Shem, the descendants of Shem. So to be anti-Semitic means to be anti-Jewish, also to be anti-Arab. It's kind of hard for an Arab to be anti-Semitic, even if Arabs sometimes don't like Jews. Number 4, there's a passage here about no longer murdering in this new world, this post-flood world. Why? Because we are made in the image of God. And this is the cornerstone of Western civilization, that we need to treat everyone, even our enemies, as made in the image of God. Once we lose that, we descend back into the barbarism that we had before the flood, that God tried to wipe out. Number 5, interesting that Noah never speaks. There's no long soliloquies. He's not praying to God for anything. God is doing all of the talking, and Noah is doing all of the listening. So those are 5 facts that you may not have known. There's also some really interesting things that encourage us. Number 1, the faith of Noah's family is not mentioned. In fact, Ham is someone who is, his son Canaan is cursed because of unfaithfulness, basically. And the good news here is that if you're a person of faith and your family is not a family of faith, your faith still affects the family. The whole family was rescued from the flood. So don't give up if there are people in your family who are not of faith. The second thing is that God always blesses a faithful remnant. You might feel like you're in the minority, being a person who tells the truth, a person who is upright, a person who has integrity. And everyone around you is lying, cheating, cussing, everything else. And you think, what is going to come of this? Well, the Bible clearly tells us that God blesses the remnant, and the remnant will inherit the created order. So take some courage out of that. Number 3, even God did a do-over on his creation. And if God can do a do-over, you and I can do a do-over. When things get so messed up, there are times we can radically restart our lives. And as a pastor, I am so blessed to see the testimonies of people who have just completely turned their lives around. I would like to send you to a website at our church. It's called How I Met My Father, and the stories of people whose lives have been transformed by the Lord, and I would invite you to add your story to those stories. And the fourth one, the rainbow symbol, the symbol of Noah's covenant, that the earth is renewable but not disposable. I grew up in the Cold War, and we were all convinced that the world was going to be destroyed many times over by nuclear war between the Soviet Union and the United States. I was pretty sure I would never die a natural death, that would happen at some point. At some point, somebody would push the button, and that would be it. That's not biblical. The biblical truth is that bad things can happen on the earth. Tribulation, wars, earthquakes, terrible things can happen, but the earth is always renewable. Creation is always renewable, never disposable. So those are four very encouraging truths. That's great news for today. Please share this video with others. I'd love to have you with a subscriber as we go through this short series on things not in the Bible that we thought were in the Bible. Please add in the comments some other things that you know of that everyone thinks are in the Bible, but they're not in the Bible.